to meet you all. I'm super excited to have you here because I believe that this session isn't just informative, it's what I would call a pivot point. So whether you're working in admin, you're working as a carer, you're working in healthcare, customer service, or you're just tired of being underpaid, overlooked, today, one thing we're going to teach you is how you can break into high demand cybersecurity roles like GRC, ethical hacking, or SOC analyst, all without having no prior background in tech. Now, I know that you're giving us 2 hours of your time on Thursday, and trust me when I say this, we do not take this lightly. So here's my promise to you. This session will be the most valuable 2 hours that you invest in yourself this year. And I know that's saying a lot. That's how sure I am that we can back this up. In fact, you know what? Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you've got a friend who's been complaining about being stuck in their job or wondering if it's too late for them to get into tech, please share this link with them. If they show up even halfway through, it'll still be a game changer for them. I mean, seriously, please get them in here. They'll thank you for it. Now, if you're catching the replay on YouTube, please drop a rocket in the comments so we know that you're part of the 10 Analytics tribe, or at least that you're considering being part of our tribe. It would literally be an honor. All right, so now let's get into a bit of housekeeping. Now, throughout the duration of this session, my team is going to be sharing a link in the chat section. Now, this is so that if you maybe miss anything that we share here, you can always access the replay, as well as free resources that will be sent over the next couple of weeks. And like I mentioned, the goal is to help you land a job in tech faster. All right. Now, before we kick off this masterclass, let's do a quick roll call. I love to meet new people. I don't know about you. So please drop your name and your location in the chat box. I want to know where you're joining us from. I'm just going to give you a minute to do that. Please drop your name and your location in the chat box. Okay. Come on, guys. Your name and your location. Ooh, Kayode from Lagos. Hi, Kayode. It's really nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, come on, guys. Let's make this session really interactive. Okay, we've got a Gideon from Ghana. Hi, Gideon. It's nice to meet you. We've got Jibrin from Lagos. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hi, Jibrin. It's super, super nice to meet you. Amazing, amazing. So grateful that you could join us today. I already love how interactive this room is. And what that tells me is you are engaged. And if you're engaged, then I know that you're very serious. So I'm going to tell you, there are 4 things that you're going to walk away with today. The first is a clear understanding of GRC, ethical hacking, and SOC analyst roles. You're going to understand what they are, how they work, and why they're blowing up in 2025. The second is how you can go from zero tech experience to certified, interview ready, and on your way to job offers. Now, the third thing you're going to learn is why people with backgrounds in healthcare, customer service, HR, care work, even teachers are landing jobs from 80K and above in cybersecurity roles in less than a year. The fourth thing is you're going to learn how 10 Analytics can plug you directly into the same pipeline. Now, what do you think? Does that sound good? Let's get into it. Okay. Now, before we get started, if this is your first time joining us, you're probably wondering, What exactly is 10 Analytics? I've been hearing about 10 Analytics. What do they even do here? So I'm here to answer that question for you. Now, the thing is, most edtechs, they give you the theory and then they leave you hanging. There's little to no community. And if there's one principle that we have in 10 Analytics is that nobody, absolutely nobody, walks alone. You can learn from me and I can also learn from you. That sort of environment is what pushes us to grow beyond our limits. Now, if you're just getting started in the tech scene, I know that you must have come across, maybe you came across Coursera, you came across Udemy, YouTube, and others. I mean, these are all super cool platforms, but I'm going to tell you this. I would call them passive. And this is because you learn about tech, but no one shows you how to get the actual job. No one gives you the tools that you need to get the job. I mean, sure, you get a skill, but having a skill is not enough for you to get a job. If that was the case, then we wouldn't have so many gifted, unemployed people today. Now, with 10 Analytics, one thing we can promise you is that we're not just here to train you, we're here to get you hired. And in this cybersecurity space that we're going to be exploring today, especially roles like GRC, SOC analyst, and ethical hacker, there's a massive global talent gap. And I'm talking in the next 5 years, over the last 5 years, actually, we've helped over 3,000 people land roles. And we're looking to help even more people in the next 5 years. People just like you, people who have no tech background, no coding experience, people who were carers, people who were students, or even people who were stay-at-home parents. And now today, they're working at places like the NHS, they're working at places like Deloitte, Amazon, and yes, Silicon Valley startups. Many of them now earn 80K and above with full visa sponsorships. And they didn't even need special connections to get this. Well, if you can call 10 Analytics your special connection, then please go ahead. So the question is, what makes us different? How exactly has 10 Analytics accomplished this? It's very simple. It's two things, actually. The first is, like I mentioned, we're very, very community driven. At the start, of course, we're a data company, so we're very big on data. We've tried different strategies, and we've discovered that one of the best things that works in this sort of industry is community, which again is why we're so big, so heavy on community. Now, the second is we don't offer 20 courses so we can chase profits. We laser focus on 8 programs that lead directly to visa eligible high salary roles in 2025. And now the question is, why exactly do we do this? It's because we're outcome obsessed. So we only teach you what converts. Now, our instructors are people who've all done this at the highest level. And I'm talking from McKinsey, I'm talking from Apple and Microsoft and a lot others. And these people, they're here to not just give you the blueprint, but to walk with you to go from step one until when you get your job. So if you're thinking, this might be for me, then you are absolutely, absolutely in the right spot. Let's get even further into it. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And now I'm sure you're wondering, who exactly is Lola Femi? And why is she qualified to guide my transition into tech? Well, I'm the VP of Operations and Execution here at 10 Analytics. But more than that, I've spent the last 10 years building, scaling, and fixing tech products in what I would call some of the toughest markets across fintech, govtech, and SaaS in continents like Africa and Europe. Now at 10 Analytics, I'm 100% focused on improving learner experiences, and I'm talking learners like yourself. So you can also follow or you can holler at me through my LinkedIn profile, Lola Femi. Now, the thing is, I could go on and on, but I know you don't really care about my LinkedIn or my profile. What you care about, what you're here for today, are results. So let me tell you why I'm here, why I'm completely obsessed with what we do at 10 Analytics. Now, this is a story that's very close to my heart. It's so much different than what we share on 10 Analytics. I'm sure you must have come across our YouTube page. If you haven't, please check it out. There are lots and lots of amazing testimonials there. And the fantastic thing about this is you can always reach out to these people. Their full names are there. You can go on their LinkedIn. You can ask them about their experience working or learning with 10 Analytics. But this story I'm about to share with you is very different because it's personal. Now, you see, last year, one of my closest friends, an HR manager who had led teams of over 100 people in Nigeria, she decided she was going to move to Canada, which she did last year. And like many people who relocate from their country to countries like Canada, the US, the UK, she had big, big dreams. But unfortunately for her, she got stuck in a care job. Now, this woman, absolutely brilliant. She had a master's. She had years of experience building systems and enhancing employee experiences. And yet, somehow, none of it mattered. She was completely invisible in this new market. Now, this whole situation made Ada very sad, and she cried a lot after corporate interviews or when she would be at her job and she'd be getting yelled at by little kids. So this led to her withdrawing. And soon she was avoiding calling home out of shame. Now, for a lot of us that are very far from home. I'm sure this is something that we can all relate to where you leave home and you've got really, really big dreams, and somehow you're not meeting up to those standards and you don't really want to talk to those people anymore because every time you call home, they're asking you, how is it now? Have you gotten that big job? So this was exactly how Ada felt. And she would wake up every morning. She's seen a lot of rejection emails. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to inform you, unfortunately, and at this point, it was chipping away at her self-confidence. She knew she was meant for more, but the how, it seems completely impossible. Now, what she kept on hearing was, you don't have work experience here, you have no education here. So she thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to sign up for another degree, and maybe that would give me some leverage in the market. Now, she was about to do this when a mutual friend, a 10 Analytics graduate, he sent her a link to the HR Analytics program. And his question was, why don't you just give it a shot? You have nothing to lose. I mean, when you think about it, it's so much cheaper than getting a new degree. About 3 months later, Ada joins the program. By November 2024, a lot had changed, a whole lot. She had added 10 analytics to her resume, and I'm just going to pause here and just buttress this point. You see, one thing that also makes us different from the other solutions in the market is especially for people who are maybe in Africa, you're looking for jobs in the UK, US, or Canadian markets. They don't want to employ you if you cannot prove that you have experience in this market. And you find that this is going to be a blocker for you if you don't have a Canadian or a UK or Western education, or you don't have work experience. Now, with 10 Analytics, she was able to solve this problem by adding them to her resume, or adding us to her resume. I'm super excited to say that. Now, the second thing that she did was she built a data-driven HR portfolio. I'm also going to stop here and buttress this point. Arguably, at 10 Analytics, we always stress the point that your portfolio is probably even more important than your resume. And why is this? Why do you think this is? You know what? I want to know what you all think. Why do you think this is? We've got two categories, right? We've got show we've got tell. Now, your resume and your portfolio, even though there are two things that are about you, and there are two things that can provide metrics, one of them shows what you've done, the other tells what you've done. So which do you think it is? Guys, let's use the chat button. Let's talk about it. I want to know your thoughts on this. Okay? Please drop your thoughts in the chat section. Okay, very interesting. We're going to come back to that. All right. So the third thing that she did was she started updating her resume. And every time she had to apply for a job, she would change the resume. She would add a lot of keywords. Now, I'm also going to stop here and buttress this point. You see, one thing that's really big in the market right now is ATS. ATS is a really big thing. What this means is when you're applying for roles, you cannot use the same resume. If you use the same resume to apply for 10 jobs, you're only deceiving yourself because nobody's going to call you back. And now I've had conversations with people who would say things like, oh, but it's so stressful, Lola, what are you saying? I always have to like update my resume after every application. I can't do that. But think about this. If you're familiar with LinkedIn, and please, I hope that every one of us here is, but if you're not, no worries, you're now with Analytics, you're in safe hands. If you're familiar with LinkedIn, when you click on a job, sometimes you can see, over 100 people have applied. And you're wondering, what are the chances that I would even get noticed for these jobs? I've posted jobs before and I've seen, sometimes close to 250 applications, 300. Sometimes, depending on what the pay is, it goes up to 500 to 1,000 per job application. So think about how these global companies that you're probably targeting, how many applications they get in a day. And some of these people, let's say roughly about 50% of them, are actually aware of the ATS method and they're updating their resume to include keywords. So if you're not doing that, if you're playing the game the safe way, you're going to lose. That's it. So which means if 100 applications are submitted for a job and only 5 people, no, let's say only 50 people used ATS, and then the ATS scans them, and maybe only 10 of them are qualified. At the end of the day, out of 100 applications, only 10 are making it to the HR's table. So this is also something that we taught Ada, and she ensured that she adapted her resume to be suitable for these roles she was applying to. Now, here's the fantastic thing. I'm also just going to touch quickly on a couple of things that Ada learned that I think is really important for you to know. She learns that as much as she was getting blockers because of the kind of job experience that she had based in Nigeria, she learned that it indeed was valuable. You see, the problem was she wasn't just framing it right. She wasn't selling herself right. I'm also going to like really hammer on this point because it's one thing for you to have the skills. It's one thing for you to have the knowledge. It's another thing entirely for you to be able to sell yourself. See, I've been interviewing someone before, and I remember it's a really funny story. I remember asking him, he's a petroleum engineer, what is petroleum engineering? Tell me what it's about. And he said, it's the engineering of petroleum. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is what someone actually said. It's completely ridiculous. But there are a lot of people who actually have the knowledge, you have the skills, but you cannot sell yourself. So when it comes to getting these jobs, positioning is everything. Now, let's go back to Ada. By her 6th month, she had tripled her interview rate. This was someone who was getting 2 interviews in maybe 2 weeks. She had tripled it by her 6 months with 10 analytics. By her 7th month, Deloitte flew her to Toronto for finals, where they offered her 80K. And remember that day, her first call, it wasn't to her family members, it was not to her mentor. She called me. And she said, Lola, I'm finally who I came here to be. I want us to just soak that in, because that could be you. That could be you next month. That could be you in the next 3 months, the next 5 months, calling your best friend and saying, hey, I finally got that job. Now, that moment, that's exactly why I joined 10 Analytics and why I'm sure you can feel that the excitement just coming off me in waves, because I want to help make the next 3,000 people that excited and relieved once they hit their breakthroughs. And that's because you deserve that moment too. So maybe you're stuck in a care job, or maybe you're getting rejection emails that don't even make sense because, come on, you're qualified. Look at my papers. I've got everything. Why aren't you giving me the job? Or maybe you're just looking to break into tech and you've got little to no support. Let me be very honest with you. Your background is not a weakness. You might have beliefs that, oh, because I don't have experience in Canada, because I don't have experience in the UK, that's why this is not happening. That's not true. Your background is your leverage. And just like I said, the most important thing is that you know how to position yourself, you know how to sell your experience. Even though your experience, your previous experience, even though it wasn't in tech, there can definitely be parallels. I mean, if you take, for example, people who are teachers, when you think about it, there's a lot of stakeholder management going on with being a teacher because you have to manage parents. I mean, if you've got parents in the house here, you know yourselves, you know how you can be sometimes about your kids and how teachers have to manage you when they're dealing with talks about your children. So that is stakeholder management. And that's very, very essential. It's a very essential skill for business analysts and even project managers to have. So if you're thinking, I have no experience, and you have a background like that, you already have what a lot of people do not have: transferable skills. So again, your background is not your weakness, it's your leverage. You just know how to package it. And trust me, that's exactly what we're going to do together. Now, if at that story, if it hit home for you, drop a me too in the chat. Let's see just how many people in this room have felt the same way, have felt the same pressure, that same level of frustration. I just want to tell you that you are not alone. And trust me, you do not have to stay stuck. That's why we're here today. We're here today because we are tired. We're here today because we want to take charge of our lives. We're here today to flip the script. So please drop a me too in the chat if this really resonates with you. Okay, now we're going to move on. All right. So now that you know what Analytics is about, you've met me, Lola Femi. Let me introduce you to my co-host today, who will be taking over this masterclass from here. Now, Chukwuemeka is the CEO of 10 Analytics, and he's helped over 1,200 people, so many of them with zero background in tech, and he's helped them land their first tech jobs. Chukwuemeka is who I would call, he's the guy that you want to talk to when you're trying to break into roles like cybersecurity, GRC, or anything that sounds complicated but pays really, really well. Chukwuemeka has worked across fintech, he's worked across banking, capital markets, and hospitality, and more importantly, he has firsthand experience with what he'll be teaching you today. So if you've ever thought, this might not work for me because I don't have a background in tech, I don't know what I'm doing here, I probably shouldn't even be here. Look, this is the part where you want to pay attention, okay? Because from here, we're going to be getting into the details of how you can do just that with none other than Chukwuemeka. Please take it away, Chukwuemeka. Thank you.
Hi, Lola. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. So we're about to get into the main discussion for today. And of course, like Lola rightly mentioned, if you want to also change your own story to be like Adapt, then you have to take everything that we're going to be talking about here this evening very, very seriously. What happens most time is that we always have this fear of, is it possible for me to do the same thing? All right, is this something that I can personally get into? but I'm here to tell you that as someone that transitioned over a couple of careers, I'm here to walk you through my own career journey as well. Okay, so when I started my own journey, I studied civil engineering first degree. From civil engineering, I found myself in the banking sector. And in the banking sector, as the fate was, I was in GRC, compliance and risk management, right? So it sort of gave me the environment that I needed to grow myself into the tech environment. And this is from someone that studied civil engineering. So right from time, I didn't have any IT-related background, any computer science degree. But today, from cybersecurity, I've been able to get into other tech career paths. And today, we are who we are. So if you want your own journey to also be in this same manner, then you have to take advantage of things that we have to talk about, okay? So one clarity I'm going to provide for you today is that by the end of this discussion, you understand your transferable skills and how you can leverage them into cybersecurity and of course, be able to land high-paying jobs, okay? But before I jump into discussing this, I want to be sure that we still have people in this session today, all right? I can see a couple of people that said me too when Lola mentioned about people that want to also, have good news like Ada. All right, please make sure that you use the attendance form that my colleague Lydia is dropping in the comment section so that I can be able to have the slide that we're using for this discussion and also have the recorded version of this conversation. So if you missed anything, you can always go back to the slide and as well also watch the recorded version of this discussion. First thing I want to point out today is that I'm sure that everyone on this call will have several career paths that we're coming through. And we always have this challenge of, if I want to get into cybersecurity, the skills I have, is this something that I can easily be able to use in the cybersecurity space? All right. And I'm going to break it down for us, some courses or some programs that I've been able to pick out and show you how they have some things that are relating to cybersecurity so that you can clearly know that it is possible for you to also get into this career path. Example, let's look at people within the environment of law. All right, you did any law-related course, you have what it takes to be in cybersecurity. So I always mention to people that cybersecurity is one of the career paths that have several different other branches embedded inside it. So inside cybersecurity, we have things that relate to privacy officer, things like governance, risk, and compliance officer, which if you have a law degree or if you have anything that relates to law, can easily be able to triumph using this exact career path. All right, so you don't have to be the guy that is wearing the hoodie and trying to do the ethical hacking or do the pen testing, as the case may be. But the most important thing is for you to know where are my strengths and you making sure that you get into the cybersecurity part towards the angle that your strength fully is in. Next, guys, that we also have is the journalist. I know when we hear journalists, always, how is journalism related to cybersecurity? All right, but if we know an actual journalist, these guys perform what we call, I've forgotten what they actually do, but they do what we call threat intelligence, of course, for people that have to go to several places that you and I can't easily walk into to be able to get information. So this is what we call threat intelligence research, okay? And most journalists, by virtue of what they actually, not the normal journalists that we know day-to-day that reports on TV or thereabouts, but the guys that you don't see most time, the faceless journalists that are out there, but they continuously bring out research that nobody knows where it's coming from. Those guys that normally release all those reports that we just out of nowhere see one report about someone. It shows you that these journalists actually has what it takes to also be in cybersecurity. Because what they are performing is what we call threat intelligence research. Okay, and if you have that skill, it means that you can easily also be able to leverage it in cybersecurity space. Thank you so much, Aminu. That's fantastic. Investigative journalism, exactly. So the guys that perform investigative journalism, they also have what it takes to be in the cybersecurity space. And when we talk about the PMs, project managers, product managers, anyone in the business field, by virtue of you performing several business analysis, can easily also become a cyber business analyst. Because what exactly are cybersecurity guys trying to do? They want to protect the business from any external influence. And it's someone that also understands the business that can also be able to tell you the possibilities that threats are going to encroach through. If you've worked in customer service before now, let's say in the banking sector, you've been a customer service officer, you've had so many instances where you've heard so much complaints from other people saying, oh, my card, this happened, my account, this happened, and so on and so forth. By virtue of those information that you've gathered over the years, can easily be able to break into cybersecurity from your experience. So when you have all those background that relates to business, you have the skill, the transferable skill to get you into cybersecurity. And of course, the teachers, very, very important. Most time, people underrate teachers, but teachers have the skill to also be in this career path. And what exactly does it mean? What I'm doing right now is also communicating to you. All companies have need for what we call the security awareness trainers. And if you don't have the eloquence, if you don't have the communication skill, you cannot be able to perform security awareness training. So if you are a teacher, I can also break into cybersecurity from this exact career path. And then finally, we'll have the guys in the IT field. If you are doing anything already that relates to IT or technology, you of course have what it takes to be in cybersecurity. Because maybe you've come across some things that are technical, which you can easily be able to utilize to get into this sector. So don't feel, oh, I'm coming from a background that do not have anything to do with cybersecurity. The most important thing that you need to look at is, where are my strengths, okay, and where are my weaknesses? And then you play it from your own area of strength. Okay, I can see a comment from Tenito. Tenito said, climate science and modeling. All right, climate science and modeling. By my own, thinking, climate science has to do with, we are constantly also reviewing at the changes in the climate and environment, which has to do with research, has to do with analysis. So with those research skills, with those analytical skills, it simply means that I can also be able to utilize it to break into cybersecurity analyst. All right, because it is the same process, really. Just now we are going to be utilizing tools to perform that activity. Okay, so if possible, other guys can also drop in their current role, so we can also help you see how it relates to cybersecurity. I just picked these 5 to show you that no matter the career path that you are coming from, you have what it takes to be in this sector. Okay, but what I always advise people is, for instance, as a law person, clearly your own strength plays towards privacy officer or GRC, which is governance and compliance. But for you to be a great GRC person, to build policies, to build governance, to build risk and make sure that the risk are mitigated rather, you need to also understand what those technical guys are doing. All right, so no matter the aspect of cybersecurity you want to break into, it's important that you understand what the technical guys are also doing. So don't just look at it from your own streamlined approach. It's just like medicine, really. If you're a medical doctor as of today, you first of all have what we call general medicine, where whether you're a neurosurgeon, a pediatrist, or obstetrician or gynecologist, any career, any aspect of medicine, you definitely pass through what we call general medicine. So that's the same way before you specialize in your own area of cybersecurity, you're going to pass through that general aspect of cybersecurity before you specialize. Most people find it challenging because you are moving directly to specializing without understanding the general aspect of cybersecurity. Okay, Philomena is asking, what about healthcare, clinical support workers? Fantastic question, Philomena. Now, Philomena, let me ask you one question. This might be a lot of back and forth because that same thing Tony also mentioned. Before you got into the health sector, what was your first degree like? Okay, because what I always get, oh, I'm in the health sector, I'm in this, or I'm a support worker. Before you got into that role that you're currently having, what is your first degree like? Okay, and also let me break this to you. I have a friend that she moved from being a support worker to being a cybersecurity professional in the health space. So with that same skills that she's been able to gather, she was also able to practice cybersecurity in the health sector. So it is always clear for people to understand that tech is not an entire sector that is different from anyone. So if there's any sector of the economy that has branches into other sectors, it is technology and finance. So if you are a cybersecurity professional and you're already in the health space, okay, or if you're in the health space rather, and you want to break into cybersecurity, there's also that possibility of you being a cybersecurity analyst in the health sector, right? So it doesn't entirely remove you from that sector of the economy that you're presently in. Hope that's clear for Toyi and Philomena. But clearly, when we look at your initial background, whether it's maybe you're a pharmacist or you're a nurse or any career path, you can always from there be able to find something that relates to the career path in cybersecurity. All right, so moving on, before we actually start getting confused, some of us may be asking, what exactly is this cybersecurity that we've been talking about since? Right, so cybersecurity is simple. It's just the practice of you trying to protect your digital assets from external influence. All right, you are trying to protect your digital assets from someone having access to them. So the same way that before you leave your house, you try to lock your door to physically protect it. That is the same way that someone also needs to protect those digital assets so that no one will have influence over them. I don't know if I've been able to explain simply what cybersecurity is all about. It's the practice of protecting your digital assets from external influence. And when we talk about cybersecurity, every single thing that you are going to be learning in cybersecurity is hinged on three basic principles, right, which we call the CIA triad. And that is confidentiality, integrity, and of course, availability of data. We have confidentiality, we have integrity, and we have availability of data. No matter what you are performing in cybersecurity, one way or the other, it tilts towards these three principles. It's the foundation on which every single activity that you're going to perform in cybersecurity is hinged on. Right? I hope we are still following. Now, clearly, let me just explain some things that are within this confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. Now, when we talk about confidentiality, you're looking at things that has to do also with encryption of data. All right? Whether your data is at rest or whether your data is in transit, it needs to be protected. So those are the action of trying to protect your data at rest or data in transit is actually you trying to make sure that that data is confidential. It simply means that nobody without influence over that data will be able to access what it has to show. Okay, and when we also talk about integrity of data, it now simply relates to how trustworthy are these data. Okay, how trustworthy is this data that you've provided for us? That's where in cybersecurity or in the risk management space, you're going to see things like access control. Now, what access control has to do fully is just simply assigning work class to each person to make sure that they have what it takes to access these data. I'm going to use the banking sector as an example. If you've worked in the bank or had anyone that work in the bank, you have the teller guys and you have maybe their supervisors. Now, the teller responsibility is to process and receive cash most time. All right. And that teller cannot be able to collect cash and be able to approve it. Okay, for instance, you've gone to the bank, you want to withdraw 100,000. The teller has punched, I want to withdraw 100,000 from your Lafayette's account. After punching it, there has to be another person that will approve that 100,000 withdrawal. And this is what we call access control, making sure that the integrity of the data is intact. Oh, the Lafayette wants to withdraw. He has entered into the bank. Chukwemeka is processing it. And after Chukwemeka has done processing it, Philemon has to approve. This is simply to be able to make sure that that data is valid. Now, when we talk about availability of data, it also relates to making sure that data is available to the people that need it at any point that it is called up for. Okay? At any point that you call for this data, that it's available. I'm sure that, okay, I think this was a couple of weeks ago, one of the fintechs back in Nigeria had a challenge that if you check your balance, your account balance, you're going to notice that there is no money in your account balance. That is what we call the availability has been compromised. Let's assume you had, let's say, 1 million naira in your safe lock, and you checked, you are seeing 1 naira in your safe lock. It's going to, instantly tell you that my data is not correct. The availability has been compromised. So this is to show you that cybersecurity fully, once it's built on these three main things, confidentiality, integrity, and of course, availability of data, you can fully be able to flow easily. And no matter the career path that you want to get into, it's important that you understand these three principles of cybersecurity. Whether you're going to become a privacy officer, or whether you want to be a pen testing officer, or you want to be a network security engineer or security architect or any other career path that is in cybersecurity, you must understand the CIA triad, okay? Confidentiality, integrity, and of course, availability of data. So if you've not understood anything about cybersecurity before now, at least before you leave this session today, you understand that cybersecurity is hinged on three main principles, which is CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and of course, availability of data. Now, when we also, bring out cybersecurity like this, it's important for people to also note that cybersecurity is not just about coding. It's not just about ethical hacking. It's not about penetration testing. There are several branches that exist. And I'm going to walk us through 5 other branches that we need to understand clearly. One of them is what we call the GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. And what these guys are responsible for is to make sure that alignment with the business goal and regulatory requirements, that it is intact. For instance, let's assume that according to ISO 27001, which is the information security principle, that it has said for all password creation, it needs to at least be 8 different integers. Now, it means that the cybersecurity, the GRC person has to make sure that no matter what the company is building, nobody's password should be less than 8. All right? At any point, whether customer or staff, the password has to definitely be above 8. Okay, so the GRC guys most time also tilt towards what we call data protection officers. People that are also trying to protect our data. So if you're in Nigeria, then you have to now start looking at towards the NDPA. If you're in Europe, you have to now start looking at the GDPR. So people that also get into such roles also stem from GRC. Some just straight move into data protection, but also if you're in cybersecurity and you also have knack for data, then you should be looking towards the data protection officers. Now, we'll talk about research analysts, like I've also mentioned. Remember, I said something about journalists, investigative journalists. Now, it's simple. Someone needs to be able to perform research to know, okay, what's the emerging threats? What's the developing thing that's happening right now? If you know the guys in hoodie, I don't know whether you guys understand the people I'm talking about, the guys in hoodie that try to deprive people of their goodwill, they are not sleeping. So constantly, these guys are always looking for ways to get into your system. They're looking for ways to be able to have access to your data. So it simply means that we, on the protective side, we are also not meant to sleep. Someone's job is to also be able to research what is it that these guys that are wearing hoodie, what's the latest trend that they are using now? Okay, how are they trying to penetrate people? I don't know if we understand the guys in hoodie that I'm trying to mention. So if you understand what I'm trying to say, please just put something in the comment section so that I'll be sure that people are still following what I am saying. If you understand what I'm saying, the guys in hoodie that are constantly trying to get to our system, and then research analysts also trying to research and understand the latest trend that they are also using. Please put anything. Thank you, Tony. At least Tony has been following us since the beginning. All right. It's only Tony that is clearly here out of close to 37 people on the call. Okay, Gloria, I've also mentioned. Yes, okay. Okay, I can see a lot of others mentioning. Okay, thank you. Tony, Gloria, Sunday, Kayode, and Nana, of course, Aminu. If you're just joining us, please, we've talked about a couple of things. And for you to have access to the slide to see what we've talked about, and also the recorded version of this, please make sure that you use the attendance form so that we can share the slide with you so you can also be able to go through it. Now, the next career path is also the guys that we call the user access manager. So these guys' responsibility is to make sure that if I'm working in a company right now as a finance officer and my responsibility is to review things, then there are some certain things that I may not have access to. So I'm going to use analytics as an example for all of us. There's what we call departmental access, and there's what we call hierarchical access. So by virtue of you being in finance, you may have access to knowing, oh, what's the salary of most people, because maybe you are the one that is processing the salary when the day comes. But by virtue of maybe you being a line manager, there are also some data you have access to. Now, you as a line manager, you may not have access to some data because you are not in that department. And as a finance person, even though you know everyone's salary because you're the one processing it, you may not have access to the agreement that birth the salary itself. So this is how user access is being, controlled. Someone is responsible to make sure each person's work class is limited only to what they can do. All right. It is not something that is technical. If you've worked in any full organization before, you understand that once you're joining an organization, you have been assigned a work class on day-to-day basics. If your role changes, the access manager makes sure that your work class also changes to make sure that you remain within your own operational limits. And of course, we have a warning analyst. Okay, it's simply like a trainer. The same way I'm performing security awareness training, the same way I'm having communications with you around cyber security, someone also needs to be able to have these conversations. Okay, but remember, before you can be able to speak like this from these several places, you need to also understand the technicalities that are also involved. So if you are looking to dive, I don't want to do anything technical, I just want to move to GRC, I just want to move to research, you are shooting yourself in the leg. So my advice to anyone that's always looking to transition is get the general understanding and then specialize in your own role. It's simply like medicine. Do general medicine and of course specialize in your own aspects. We'll have the social engineers, right? And the responsibility of social engineers is to positively try to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential information. Okay, so if you work in companies, that's what we call tests that cybersecurity guys always carry out. Okay, that's what we call tests to know, okay, which people are going to actually click on this link. Right, we've done maybe a test to know the weak links that we have in our organization. We said, hello, Izuna Ezoma, do you know that your salary has been increased to so and so and so? So for you to have access to this your salary increment, please click on the link below. And once you've clicked on that link, your details are immediately captured. So within companies, we also have social engineers that try to positively, start up this process to see which people are going to fall to this exploit that will give access to the bad guys. So when they now find out those people, either trainings are performed for them or companies have different policies around this. And in fact, there's another company we're trying to perform a data protection training for in the next coming weeks. And it's simple. They just selected the people that failed their phishing tests. So there were around 15 staff that failed and said, okay, so analytics come and train this individual with respect to what they need to know. And this is to show you that it is people's job to know and make sure that there are no weak links within an organization. Now, all these things I've seen, most times people always ask, okay, what actually is the job outlook like in the cybersecurity space? If I decide to get into this sector, how well can I actually be able to thrive in it? If you've been following what's been happening around the globe, you know that cybersecurity is one of the hottest cake out there. All right, in 2025 alone already, the monetary damage that been caused by cyber crime is already above 15% increase year on year, which means if you check what happened last year and what's already happening in half of this year, we've already experienced a 15% surge in the monetary damage that cybersecurity has caused, cybercrime has caused rather. And when you look at it by virtue of financial wise, it is over 10.5 trillion already in US dollars, okay? And that's from 3 trillion that happened in 2015. Now, if you understand cybersecurity clearly and why these guys are actually very important, you know that once there is any cybersecurity issue, there are so many damages that it can cause to your organization. All right, let me give you one reason why cybersecurity are one of the hottest guys. If a data analyst makes a mistake today in a company, it may just be operational mistake. Let's call it operational mistake. Okay, operational damage. All right, the highest it can lead to is possibly it will lead them to what we call financial damage. Okay, of which the company should now be able to know how are we going to protect ourselves from this. But if a cybersecurity person has an issue or makes a mistake, first it's going to lead to what we call reputational damage. Right? It's going to lead to reputational damage. Then it's going to also lead to regulatory guys are going to also come after regulatory damage. And then to also encompass these other aspects of damages that a data analyst also incurred. Okay? Because of that simple mistake or negligence by cybersecurity person, reputational damages will occur, regulatory damages will occur, operational damage will occur, and of course, financial damage will occur. So this is to show you how important the cybersecurity guys are. So if you want to look at it from the aspect of risk, we have operational risk, we have financial risk, we have reputational risk, we have regulatory risk. And when a data analyst or anyone within that space performs something that triggers a risky business within the organization, highest it can occur is just simply these two aspects of damages. But if a cybersecurity person makes an error or has a negligence, it encompasses all this. Now, this is the reason why cybersecurity guys are hotcakes, right? This is the reason why they are hotcakes as at today. And it's not just you taking my word for it. As at a couple of years ago, all right, by 2023, actually, we had less than 400,000 trained available cybersecurity. Okay, we had 1 million plus less cybersecurity rather, with less than 400,000 trained available cybersecurity experts. Okay, but what is now being said by cybersecurity jobs reports for 2025 is that we are reaching 3.5 million openings as at the end of 2025. And it's simply because of all the monetary damages that has been occurring because of cyber crime. Okay, so because of the several reported cyber crimes out there, there is now high demand for cybersecurity people because all organizations, they are all looking for, we need someone to be able to protect our digital assets. So if you are still considering, is this a career path that I'm going to find job? Is it a career path that I'm going to be able to strive? I'm here to tell you that you are on the right track. Okay, by the job outlook that was published by Cybersecurity Jobs Report, can clearly see that there are a lot of potential here. And it doesn't just end here. I always mention to people that good news are also existing. If you look at my screen, you're going to see a chat between a past student and us. It simply started by, I got a message from your facilitator about your recent job. Congratulations to you. And of course, yes, so that's what Tommy Emmanuel mentioned, right? Yes, thank you so much. I got a cybersecurity engineer role at Deloitte, right? And this is happening as at April of this year already. You can see, I'll give a testimonial after I resume work. My resumption is in April, okay? And of course, we'll follow up to get all those testimonials. Now, what Emmanuel mentioned is this, that what he got from Analytics was able to prepare him practical-wise, and of course, it's intensive. So if you are still thinking, oh, is there a place that you're going to get in and instantly relax? You are not going to actually relax. There is so much expectation that we have of you, okay? And one thing is that it is fully practical, and of course, it is intensive. And for you to also be able to be like Ada, that Lola mentioned earlier, or you want to be like Emmanuel, that has been able to also learn a cybersecurity engineer role with Deloitte in Netherlands, then there are three things that you need to be able to do, right? There are simply three things that you should be able to do, and that's simply, you need to learn the skills. You need to also be able to package yourself. And of course, you need to learn how to apply to these jobs. So three things, like I mentioned, you need to learn, you need to package, and of course, you need to apply. But why exactly should you choose cybersecurity as a career path? Number one is the great work-life balance and flexibility that it also offers you. I know a guy that is a cybersecurity guy. This guy is never in one country. Today he'll call me, oh, I'm in Greece, next time I'm in Malta, next time. He's just walking around the globe. Okay, and this is to show you the flexibility. And of course, the growing job opportunities that exist in this space. And also, you don't always need a tech-related degree. All right, personally, I've transitioned from civil engineering. So if a civil engineer can get into this, trust me, you also can be able to get into it. And of course, the fantastic salary that are also existing here. Then, of course, you get to work at the heart of innovation and change. So if you are still thinking, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? What exactly do I need to do? How can I transition to be able to get into this space? Make sure that you bring out your pen and paper and listen attentively right now. How can I transition easily to be able to get into this cybersecurity career path? Like I mentioned first, number one thing that you need to do is you need to be able to learn the skill. Okay, when you get into the program and you start listening to what is being taught in the classroom, you're going to notice that there are some things that you have been doing maybe as a teacher, or something that you've been doing as a project manager, something you've been doing as a health worker that are actually cyber security cautious. Okay, today, if you want to enter your device to something like your phone, of course, you have to either use your facial recognition or use thumbprint or use password. All these things are actually you performing digital protection. Okay, but for you to actually practice it on a wider range, be able to work for an organization, protect their assets, you need to be able to understand what it fully entails. So first is you need to focus and learn. Then number two is you need to package yourself. Packaging is very, very crucial. Okay, I can't mention this less. I traveled to Nigeria for some collaboration with some universities, and something very, very amazing happened because one of the VCs of the university wanted to speak to said, "Oh, young man, how many years of experience do you have?" I mean, if you look at me clearly, I'm just a young guy, and I understand how Nigerian terrain works. I simply said, "Oh, the management team in analytics that will have close to 50 years of experience." And did I lie? The answer is no. I didn't lie. I simply repackaged the question and gave him what he was trying to gauge. Because simply for me, I have a decade of experience or thereabouts. Okay, that may not be sufficient for what they are looking for. But if I not add, oh, my founder's experience, my co-founder's experience, my experience, VP's experience, the management team entirely, our own experience is now above 50 years. And we're able to learn what we're looking for. So packaging is also very, very crucial for you to break into the tech sector. Sometimes you might actually have the skill, but because you've not been able to package yourself very well, you are unable to land those roles. I'm going to speak extensively on this. And of course, applying to the job is very, very crucial. The job is not just going to land on your laps. It's important for you to also apply using a tailored approach. Like Lola also mentioned earlier, you need to be able to tailor your CV down to each of the jobs that you are going for. So how exactly are you going to be learning with us here at Analytics? All right. Now, many of us may still be wondering, cybersecurity is here amongst the career path that AI or all those things are springing up these days, that in the next coming years, is it also going to take our role? I'm here to also clarify you on that. So what we did before we accepted to do some of these 8 courses is we reviewed all these job boards. We analyzed the job boards to bring out which jobs were the highest that were posted for the previous year. And of course, after those analyses, we passed through the WEF validation. WEF is World Economic Forum report to see which jobs are also going to grow and which jobs are going to decline. Right? So from there, we're also able to select some career paths. And of course, lastly, we have to do what we call regional analysis. If you're in the UK, you'll agree with me that there have been a lot of changes relating to the immigration laws. But what we've come to understand is no matter the trajectory that they tilt towards, cybersecurity always is within the RQF level 6. And what RQF level 6 means is that for you to land some visa-sponsored roles, you need a job that is within those RQF of level 6. And cybersecurity is always within that exact bracket. And if you're in the US, cybersecurity is also amongst the jobs with the highest H-1B acceptance rates. And also in Canada, if you go through the provincial nominee programs, you're also going to see that cybersecurity is also amongst the jobs that are always represented there. So 3 things are involved. We passed it through the WEF validation to be sure, is it a job that is also going to be in demand? We look through the job boards to see how constantly are cybersecurity jobs. And of course, we did regional analysis to be able to get the validation that in US, UK, and Canada, that there are also very, very lucrative roles. And after all those things, we're able to come up with all these courses. So this is how we got the 8 career paths that we currently offer at Analytics. But for the virtue of our discussion today, we are going to be hinging everything on cyber security. So if you look at the World Economic Forum report also, it said that in the next 5 years, a couple of jobs are going to be created. Close to 170 million jobs will be created, and 92 million jobs are going to disappear. What we also discovered is that cybersecurity is also amongst the leading path in all these growing career paths. So let's look at the in-demand jobs like they mentioned. right? So on the left-hand side, you have the career paths that are currently in highest demand, okay? And you can see information security analyst. You can see at number 5, your security management specialist. You can see Internet of Things specialist, and of course, you can see your information security analyst. All these 3 career paths are pointing towards cyber security. They are all just different derivatives of cyber security. So clearly, you can see that it's among the career path that is going to go. So what you want to do is, if what you are doing at the moment is within this right-hand side, you want to make sure that you move away from this right-hand side towards this left-hand side, because left-hand side is where the career paths that are growing are fully domiciled in, okay? And cybersecurity is clearly one of them. Now, how are you going to be learning? We have a blended approach here in analysis that you are going to have someone like myself in the classroom teaching you everything that you need to know. So number 1 is you'll be having a live instructor-led class. Someone will be walking you live in the classroom what you need to know. Okay, we can't see your screen. Oh wow! Please, can every other person see my screen? I can see my screen on my second screen actually film on, or feel rather. I can see my own screen. So what you may want to do is maybe you swipe left again. I'm sure you're going to see where the screen is. Maybe you swipe your phone or something like that. I can see my screen on my second device and talking to you the way I'm teaching you right now. Of course, it is fully practical. You learning the basics the way I'm speaking. Like you can see, okay, thank you. We can see just your face. Feel there is something wrong with the way you join. You see what you're going to do for me now? Just leave the call and join back the call instantly. Okay, possibly there's something wrong with how you are viewing the class. Okay, so you are going to be learning live in the classroom. So it's live instructor-led. Someone is going to be speaking to you live in the classroom. And of course, you also have a self-paced model, which means aside the live classes, someone will also be doing a video recorded version of trainings and provide it for you. And the expectation is that you are going to be watching both of these. You're going to be in the live class and you're also going to be watching those recorded versions. And even if you miss the live classes, the live class is also recorded. That, for instance, you missed a session, you can always be able to watch the recorded version to understand what you missed in the classroom. Because as adults, there are instances where we might miss a couple of things because of engagement. So it's important for us to have access to the classroom. And it's a lifetime access. Once you get into the program, it's a lifetime access forever and ever. You have access to the materials, you have access to recorded version, you have access to learning management system. But before we move ahead, let's quickly have a little bit of practical, okay? So sometimes some things that you may be performing, some of the activities that you'll be doing is to find out, oh, how many people in my organization actually have their emails compromised? Okay, let's say, okay, your email has been compromised because you used it in maybe one site like that, and it has been compromised. And there are several sites that you can also be able to utilize to make sure that this happens. So I don't know if there are volunteers for people that want to drop their email for us to use it to check if your email has been compromised. So you can just drop it in the comment section, and I'm going to pick it up from there and check whether your email has been compromised. Okay, but quickly, let me see or try out one email to see if that email has been compromised. So let's look at this email that I got from a friend. All right, on highest@gmail.com. Now, when you click at this site, when you click at this email and check, they're going to quickly be told, oh, you can see 2 data breaches. Oh no, Paul, this email address has been found in multiple data breaches. Review the details below to see where your data was exposed. So if you scroll down, you're going to clearly see that this guy had a breach with this email with Canva as at May 2019 when they experienced some glitches, and of course also with CT that happened in 2020. So my advice to the person that has this email would be, oh, you need to change your password, and of course go to those websites and also make sure that you remove it as well. I can see a lot of emails dropping. So quickly, let me also try to get one or two of those emails and perform what I need to perform. Okay, so quickly I have nksafo005@gmail.com. Then let's check NK to see if you've been compromised. Okay, so Nana, you have 4 data breaches. Oh no, Pawn, this email has been found wanting in 4 breaches. So if you can see my screen, you see Operation Endgame 2. That is one of the platforms that email was compromised through alien Stealer logs, okay, and also Stealer logs as well as Telegram Stealer logs. So I don't know whether you use this email for some phishing activities, but clearly there's some compromise that happened with this email. So you may want to also change your password as fast as possible. Okay, so let me also check another person and then we instantly move on because I may not be able to look at everyone's email. But once you get the slide, okay, when you fill the attendance form and get the slide, you have access to everything that we are talking about. So you can get to the place where I have Pawn. Okay, once you click on it, you can easily be able to go to the site and validate whether your own email address has any compromise or not. So quickly, let me check the one from Mary Ann as well. So Mary Ann, I've copied your email. Let me quickly check whether you have any breaches. So this is Mary Ann's email. Let me check. And some activities. Oh, so Mary Ann, you're clean. You can see 0 data breaches. Fantastic. Good news. No punnage found. You've been a good person. You've been a good girl, Mary Ann. You've not been found wanting on any platform. Okay, so this can also be an activity that the user access control manager is embodied with on daily activities. So responsibility is to make sure that everyone within my organization, because people are always clicking on things that they don't know about. People are always using their emails for things they're not supposed to do. Make sure that everyone within the organization that they are not found wanting on any platform. You can see the next person I picked, that should be Zyde System. Zyde System, you've been found wanting on 3 data breaches. One happened with CoinMarketCap. I know this is related to the crypto space, so you may want to also, as fast as possible, make changes. And of course, University Media and also Canva that happened in 2019. All right, so clearly, if you've been found wanting on any of these platforms, please make sure that you change your password. And of course, clear your cache so that you'll not be able to also have any links attached to them anymore. All right, so that is just it. Please, if you want to perform your own personal check, like I said, make sure you fill the attendance form. And then once this session is over, we're going to send the slide to you. And you can on your own be able to, once you get the slide, when you get to this page called Pond, simply click on this link that I have attached here. Once you click on it, it's going to take you to the site for you to be able to validate the validity of your email. And like I've also said earlier, the financials related to cybersecurity is not something that is also small. So if you look at my screen, you see that in UK alone, the average earning power for a cybersecurity professional is around £7,000. Okay, in Canada is around 140,000 Canadian dollars, and then in US is around 105 US dollars. So clearly, the earning power is not in question. Okay, no matter any place that you found yourself, whether you are in Africa, whether you are in Europe, whether you are in North America, clearly you're going to earn a sustainable living from cybersecurity. Remember, I've been able to explain learning. Number 2 now is how do you package yourself? Some of us have the skill, but we struggle to break into job paths because we've not been able to package ourselves in a way that is very, very, very important. I always mention to people the importance of competence. Now, credentials are important, but competence will always be over credentials. If you listen to what the richest man in the world posted as at February, that's Elon Musk, he said that we don't care the university you attended, we don't care the degree that you are coming with. We don't even care where you've worked at. Just simply show us your code. Now, this is to show you the importance of competence, the importance of the skill itself. If you go to that and say, okay, you want to get CISA, you want to get CISM, you want to get CompTIA++, without having the competence of a cybersecurity personnel, you are also still going to struggle. So first advice for anyone looking to get into cybersecurity is get the skill and knowledge, and then pursue credentials, which will now be an added feather to your cap. Okay, but remember, before you start packaging, competence is important. It's very, very crucial that you get the competence. I want us to quickly listen to what Adetayo had to say about his own experience when he joined our own cybersecurity program. So in the next 1 minute, let's listen to what Adetayo had to say quickly. Okay, this is taking a while to come up. Let me quickly be sure that it is here. Okay, can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hi, Lola, are you there?
Yes, Chukwemeka, I can hear you.
Okay, because my screen actually froze for a moment and I was wondering whether I've gone away. Okay, so it's taking a while for YouTube to load for me to be able to show what Adetayo had to say about his own experience with us. But when you get the slide, please make sure that you go through it and also hear what he had to say. So from his own experience, when Adetayo joined our own program, he was still within 60 to 70% completion rates, and he landed a job. So he was not even able, he didn't complete his entire program with us before landing a career path, before landing a job. But what I always try to tell everyone is simply this: even if you land a job, make sure that you finish the program so that you can also be able to build up on the areas that you'll never be able to get into. Right. So once you get the slide, just click here to watch what Adetayo had to say. He got a job within 60 to 70% completion rates of his own cybersecurity career path with us as well. Now, when I talk about packaging, first important thing that you need to do is to have a portfolio. All right, it's important for you to have a portfolio. Very, very important. So if you click on any of these platforms here, on any of this link here, it's going to take you to portfolio, which is simply evidence of work, evidence of skill. Okay, now let me ask us, all of us, a question on this call. Let's assume that you have a car, right? You have a car and your car spoils. Your car spoils, and one person is saying to you, oh, I'm a graduate of mechanical engineering from Harvard University with first-class degree. Bring your car, let me repair it for you. And the other person is saying, oh, this is my mechanic workshop. I've been able to repair an Aston Martin, a Volkswagen, a Toyota, a Benz. I didn't have any university degree, but these are the jobs I've been able to do. Whom are you going to give your car to repair for you? The roadside guy without a university degree but has a workshop to show evidence of things they've been able to do, or the guy from Harvard University with first-class degree in mechanical engineering? Whom are you going to give your car to repair for you? Izuna said the second guy. Fantastic, Izuna. Let's also hear from others to also see and understand how they think. Izuna said he is going to give his car to the second guy, which is the roadside mechanic. All right, the guy that has a workshop, the guy that has a shop to show things that he's been able to do. So he said the guy with experience. Fantastic. And that is exactly what happens in the tech environment entirely. Nobody cares, oh, I have a master's degree from information security. What have you done? I have a PhD from University of Hull, information security. What have you done? So the same way the mechanical guy was able to show a workshop, to show the cars that he's been able to repair. That is why having a portfolio is also important. So if you see this portfolio, this is a portfolio of Jackson, one of our past students. I think he's still a student right now, right? One of our students. You see, he clearly said that he's working with analytics, data, and strategy in the UK. So when you go through his the works that he committed to repositories, can see the activities that he's been able to perform. He's done a penetration testing. He's done a intelligence report writing. He's done cybersecurity itself. They've done a lot of threat intelligence also. And when you click on any of them, you can clearly see the activities that Jackson performed regarding this exact project. Right? When you click on any of them, you see the activities that Jackson performed regarding this. So this is like you also having a workshop to show evidence of things that you've done in the past. Right? This is like you having a workshop to show evidence of things you've done in the past and how you were able to come about it. Okay. So once you get access to the slide, click on any of those links. It's going to bring you to all these portfolios of our past today. You can see this guy also has a portfolio. That's Tolulope. Tolulope has a portfolio with 6 repositories also committed. And when you click on it, you see what she also was able to. She performed a simple network configuration. And what this simply means is that Temitope can utilize Cisco Packet Tracer. She can utilize Wireshark to run a simple network configuration. Okay, and when you click here, you can now see a detailed report of what she was also able to do. So clearly, this is to show you that it is important for you to have a portfolio. Because what portfolio does for you is that it gives you the opportunity to showcase your work. The same way the mechanic guy was able to have a workshop to show evidence of what they've done in the past. If you can see this Tolebe's portfolio, you can also see evidence of what Tolebe did with respect to setting up a simple network configuration. And in the end, it was successful. So what this simply means is that if Tolebe is looking to land a network engineering role, she has the evidence to validate that exact skill. So these are things that package you to make sure that you have what it takes. So having that portfolio is very, very crucial. Once you get the slide, simply click on any of these cybersecurity portfolios to see the activity that these guys have done, the evidence of jobs that they're able to do to validate the skills that they have. Now, packaging also entails you working on your CV. So it's important that your CV is up to date. You're not just utilizing the same CV you used to apply to a GRC role, the same CV you're using to apply to a privacy officer role, the same CV for a security awareness trainer. No. So there is need for you to tailor your CV down to the specifics. So what we do at Analytics is that once you join us 2 months after, we are going to work on your CV ourselves. And then we're going to present it to you and teach you how do you now tailor your CV down to the jobs that you are going for. Okay, how do you tailor your CV down to the specifics of jobs that you're going for? Because the expectation is now that when you are applying to these jobs, you are now going to be tailoring your CV down to those specifics. And of course, LinkedIn optimization is part of activities that we are going to also perform for you. Teach you how you can also be relevant on LinkedIn. I always mention to people, LinkedIn is the fastest, easiest, and cheapest means of hiring. So if you're not actively engaging on LinkedIn, then you're already dropping money on the table. Okay. Now, number 3 packaging that we're also going to provide you with is how do you navigate the job market? So in this regard, we bring an expert back to the classroom to walk you through the various job markets that are out there and how you can at least be able to make use of them. Then also interview prep session. You've landed an interview. How do you speak during interviews? How do you answer questions that are situation-based? For instance, you've gone for an interview, STAR framework is always the easiest framework to answer situation-based questions with. S stands for situation, T for task, A for action, and of course, R for results. For instance, they've asked you, oh, hi, Chukwemeka, tell me about a time where you've been able to analyze some IP addresses and been able to bring out the results. I can be able to speak from, oh, while I was consulting with Analytics, which is the situation. So situation is, while I was consulting with Analytics, I was able to work on this network analysis, or I was able to work on this IP address investigation, which is the task that you've been assigned with. And then you now start mentioning the actions that you're able to take. First of all, I use the acronym of -S V for me to check the version of that exact platform. Okay, that's utilizing Nmap to run my threat assessment. Now, when you speak like this, they'll clearly know, okay, this person has been able to have a situation which is while consulting with Analytics. The person also has a project they've worked on, which is the task, and of course, they performed actions and then the results. The results can speak from a place of, okay, after my assessment, I was able to discover that we had some open ports, and I was also able to advise the organization to either improve the certificates or also to do some certain things. And because of that, we're able to not have any major non-conformity when the IT auditors came. Okay, which because of that non-conformity, there is no financial implication. So when you speak like this, they're going to say, oh, this person has actually been able to work on an actual project with a particular company. Now, these are the things that we do for you during interview preps to prepare you for that interview that you're going for. And when you land the job, we are also here to provide you with reference letters and also recommendation letter. If you are in UK, US, or Canada, you agree with me that reference letters is very, very important if you are looking to land a role. Someone needs to validate those skills that you also say that you have. And also on the job support, you've landed a job and you are still struggling, we are also here to provide support for you. But most of our students do not come for this because there's no how you're going to spend time with us through the technical training and not have what it takes to perform on the role. Then weekly mentorship sessions where we bring in experts back to the classroom to mentor you on some challenges that they had so that you are not going to have the same challenges that they had. And also Upwork optimization. How do you get to freelance here? How do you get to make £50 here, $50 here, €50 here until you land the job that you are looking for? So all these are ways that we package you clearly to be able to land the jobs that you're looking for. So aside the technical training, you're also going to be getting all these services from us as well. Okay, I hope that is clear for everyone. And how many months is actually this training? The training is for 8 months. Okay, where you're going to be learning clearly in the classroom for 6 months and then have a 2-month internship experience. So you're going to learn with us clearly for 6 months in the classroom, learning the various aspects of key learning modules that you have. Then 2 months internship, you are now specializing in a specific aspect of cybersecurity. I don't know if that is clear for everyone. So 6 months, you are learning general cybersecurity, and then 2 months, you're now specializing in a particular cybersecurity career path. And what this does for you is that you have the unique opportunity to say, oh, I've been able to consult with analytics, and of course, I've also been able to intern with Amdari. So it gives you more experience, it gives you more companies that you've also been able to work with, and it also gives you a global experience because Analytics is fully registered in Canada, while Amdari is fully registered in the United Kingdom, making you a vast cybersecurity personnel that have been able to interact with several data sets from different regions across the globe. So 8 months intensive training, 6 months classroom learning, and then 2 months internship experience, specializing in a particular career path that you are going to be moving into. Then lastly is applying to roles. Like I've said before, never use a CV when applying to any job out there. Okay, and then of course, it's important for you to decide within yourself that each day I'm going to do 10 quality applications every day. And how do we support you on this journey? We have some top paid job boards out there. So what we do from our own part is we scrape these job boards. But when we scrape it, we provide it to our students to also be able to apply to these jobs. So if you look at my screen, you can see a couple of jobs that we've been able to scrape from our own job boards, and we've provided it to our students to apply to them. Now, the responsibility of applying to these jobs now rests solely on you. I know someone asked me about how about people in the health sector that they are coming from support work. Can you see this job here? They're talking about risk and issue specialist NHS, right? Someone with that health understanding can easily be able to now leverage their own health skills and be able to land this job that is also in the NHS space, right? So what we do is we scrape these job boards and provide you with available jobs across the globe for you to now be able to apply to them. It can be in UK, it can be in US, it can be in Canada, it can be in Dubai, it can be in Africa. We'll provide you with all those jobs for you to apply to them. Remember, there are things that we can do for you. One is we are going to teach you, which is about learning. Right? We are going to teach you, it's about learning. And then after teaching you, we're going to help you package And then also we are going to help you, provide you with available jobs rather, for you to apply. But the responsibility of applying to these jobs solely rests on you. Now, our success rate over the years currently stands at 89%, which means 89% of people that come into our program get to move on to greater things. Now, the 11% that are negatively impacting us, does it mean that we do not provide them with the same support like every other person? We did the same thing. But where the difference is always enter is when applying to jobs. Remember, the responsibility is on you. And if I'm applying, let's say 20 jobs per day, and you're applying for one job every day, I'm going to definitely have higher luck than you, because definitely opportunity is going to meet you at your own point of preparedness. Okay, so we are going to teach you, we are going to help you package, and also we are going to provide you with jobs. But then the responsibility of applying to these jobs rests solely on you. So all these other things that you can see on my slide, they are all success stories of people that have been able to do the same program with us, people that have been able to move from one career path to different tech sector. And all these are from different aspects. You can see Ikmat used to be a stay-at-home mom, and she moved to data analytics. Ramat used to be a customer success rep in the UK, and she moved to business analysis. Tony used to be a pharmacist, and she moved to data analytics, and a lot of others that move from different career paths into the cyber, into different tech sectors, right? You also can make that same move today. But remember, the responsibility is on you, and opportunity meets people at their own points of preparedness. So you may have been applying to multiple jobs. You might have been saying, okay, what am I doing wrong? Maybe what you can actually be getting from the training might actually be some things as little as how do you package yourself? You may have the skills already, but you lack the packaging. But for you to land those jobs that you're looking for, packaging is very, very crucial. So how do you package effectively to make sure that you land those jobs that you're looking for? A couple of people said, oh, I already have understanding of some of these career paths. I just need your CV services. I just need to understand some things and also have practical understanding to be able to get into this space. And we're able to provide it for them. Now, this is also might be your own story, like what exactly that you are looking for. Might be your CV review to package, or it might be around building your own speaking skills for you to effectively communicate during interviews. Now, what exactly are you going to be learning in the class itself? What skill do you need to have? So as cybersecurity professionals, like I've said before now, first thing you have to do is to pass through the general aspect of cybersecurity, which I always love to call general CS, all right? Same way they have general medicine, we have general cybersecurity, and it entails you having understanding of what is from here down to this point, right? You need to understand what is going on from this beginning point, which is number 1, down to number 14, right? And what exactly are you going to be learning in the classroom? First thing you'll be understanding is the general overview of cybersecurity, the rules and technologies. Okay, you need to have an understanding of what cybersecurity entails before you now move on to understanding the information security principle. So that CIA trial I was trying to explain today is part of the first thing that you need to have understanding of if you're looking to break into cybersecurity. The CIA trial, and also you now understanding risk management. You understanding risk management. So clearly, number 2 prepares you to be a risk manager. So let me bring out some career path that exists here. Then number 3, we're now looking at you moving towards network security and also threats and vulnerabilities, which has to do with defense aspect of cybersecurity. Okay, threat assessment and also network security. So there's a career path that also exists here, which can be a network engineer. Let me call it network engineer, or okay, you guys already know the other one, which is a threat assessment officer. Then from number 4 downwards, number 4, 5, and 6, we are now going to be interfacing with what we call SOC roles, Security Operations Center roles and responsibilities, where you have to performing log analysis using tools like Splunk. So utilize Splunk as a SOC analyst to be able to analyze some threats. Okay, you have to understand how to use it, to perform your log analysis and also to perform your network traffic monitoring. Okay, so when you have those understanding of how to use the tools, it prepares you for what you will be doing on the job. Then also threat detection and response. Now you're learning how to utilize Nexus, how to utilize Nmap to assess your threats, how to utilize all these tools to be able to defend the organization appropriately. Okay, so everything that you're learning between 4, 5, 6 prepares you to work as a SOC analyst. Prepares you to work as a SOC analyst. Then you now move on to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, so when you're in this aspect, which move from here to this point, starting with open source intelligence gathering, how do you gather your requirements? How do you gather your intelligence, which has to also do with research analysts in the cybersecurity space. But we are going to put all of them within an umbrella called pen testers. All right, let's call most of them the pen testers, because what they are now fully involved in is the red team aspect, performing attacks, which has to do with, number one, you have to be able to do your open source intelligence gathering, be able to perform malware analysis, and also be able to move into pen testing, okay? Your OSWAPs and of course your P-tests. Then you now move into vulnerability scanning and also network reconnaissance before you now get to exploitation techniques. All right. Then lastly, the last aspect here is now what we call the GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance. So if you're looking to be part of the people that build the governance, part of the people that mitigate risk and also govern what the cybersecurity is, majorly the IT audit and others, then you should be looking towards this GRC, which pertains around governance and compliance framework around your ISO 27001, which is your information security principle, and also NIST, as well as compliance audits and policy development, and then security awareness training. So all these different key learning points, that is what you are going to be learning for 6 months. All right, you're going to be learning all this for 6 months. And then after it, you now move to internship experience, where you can now choose, oh, I want to specialize in GRC. And you're not going to specialize in GRC for that 2 months. I want to specialize in pen testing. You can now specialize in pen testing, or I want to specialize in SOC analysis, and you can now clearly specialize in SOC analysis. But remember, it is important for you to have that general understanding, because a general medical doctor is needed before you become a neurosurgeon. The same way, for you to be a specialist with respect to pen testing, you need to at least understand the fundamentals of all cybersecurity aspects. I hope that has been clear. Now, the program, the classes only holds on Saturdays alone. All right, so on African time, which is suitable for people in Africa and also for people in Europe. So if you're in Africa or Europe, then the morning class is suitable for you, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And if you're in North America, the Canadians, the US guys, then the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African class will be more stable for you, right? It should be around 10 a.m. Mountain time, which is perfect for you to be able to join the classes. Remember, the class holds on Saturdays alone, right? Saturdays, you have live classes. This Saturday, you're having a live class. Next Saturday, you're having a drop-in session to validate what you've learned before. So the reason why it's just weekend trainings, weekend learning, is because we understand that we are all professionals. We have actual job that we're currently doing right now, and we don't want to take you away from the job because money has to be made first. So that's the reason why the program is fully just Saturday based. All right, for you to have that classroom understanding, the technical skills that you need to get into the program with. Remember, the learning duration is fully for 8 months, 6 months classroom learning, and then 2 months internship experience, where you now work on several projects to build up your own portfolio. Now, how can you get started today? For you to get started, it is very simple. Our next cohort is starting by July 5th, which should be roughly in 3 weeks' time. So what this represents is that by first week of Saturday of July, we are starting a new cohort. And I always mention to people that if you're looking to get into a career path within a year, July, June should be the months that you are targeting. So what does this mean? By the time you're getting to December, which is when most companies are going to be doing their fiscal year analysis to know, okay, what roles do we need and so on and so forth, you already have the skill. And that's the time that we have highest job vacancies, which should be around the month, September, October, November, December. By then, you should have necessary skill to start applying to job, which means at least by the beginning of next year, 2026, you should be in the tech industry already. Okay, you should be in the tech industry already. But for you to gain access to this, you have to register for the program. Now, the program is 8 months and the full amount is $900, but currently discounted to $750 for the first 20 people to join this classroom. And you have the option to pay that $750 instrumentally, which means you don't have to pay the $750 instantly. No, you can break it down to pay it over a period of 5 months, which means for the first month, you're paying $150, for the second month, you're paying $150, and so on and so forth. So this is what we've done to make it easier for everyone to be able to get into this tech sector, right? And how can you have access to this limited spot? All you have to do is click on the link that my colleagues are dropping in the group chat, or when you get the slide, just click to pay an installment, click here. Once you click on that click here button, it brings you to our main stack enrollment center, right? It brings you to our main stack enrollment center. And all you have to do at this point is to scroll down. So when you scroll down, you'll see some of the offerings that we also have when our programs are starting each month. And then look for the program that is speaking for you. For the virtue of this explanation, let's look at cybersecurity. So you can see the Agile Project Managers, Business Analyst, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. If you're looking for cybersecurity, simply click on Register for CS. Once you click on it, it's going to bring you to this page where you can now select how you want to structure your own payment plan. So it's going to bring you here where you select how you want to structure your payment plan. So you can clearly see that you can have the option to pay one off, or you can pay in 2 installments, 3 installments, 4 or 5 as the case may be. Anyone that works for you. This is what we've done to make it easier for every single person. And the amazing thing about this site is that no matter where you are joining us from, if you are in the US, you're going to be seeing the pricing in USD. If you are in Ghana, you're going to be seeing the pricing in cedis. If you're in Nigeria, you're going to be seeing it in NGN. If you are in UK, you're going to be seeing it in pounds. And of course, if you're in Germany, you see it in euros. So no matter where you are joining from, you will see the pricing in your own local currency already converted by the platform. So just choose the one that works for you. So let me explain using the 5-month instrumental option. Once you click on it, all you have to do now is simply click on Secure Your Seat. So it's showing you that the first payment is due today, which is $150 today. Next payment is due by July 12th, next one by August 12th, September 12th, and then October 12th. All right, and then that is all you have to do now is just click on Proceed, and it will bring you to the page where you just put in your name, your email address, your phone number, and simply pay for the product. As simple as that. All right, so it is the easiest way for you to get into the program. But what happens most time is that these spots are easily filled up. And once they are filled up, the price goes back to the full amount. All right. Once the 20 spots are taken, once you come here, you're not going to be seeing $750 anymore, $700 anymore. You're going to be seeing back to 900, and it's automated. Because right now you can see that 2 people have already secured their seats. And once these 18 seats are taken, this price goes back to the full amount again. And there's no deadline for it. If the 18 seats are taken today, the price goes back instantly. If the 18 seats are taken tomorrow, the price goes back instantly. So I always advise people to secure their spots as fast as possible, because there is no validation, there is no clarity on when it's going to be fully be sold as. Because once it's done, the price reverses back to the full amount. So I don't know if at this point there's anyone that has any question for me at this point, so I can take the question before we round up for today. And of course, I have a special, you can drop the question in the comment section, or you can use the raise hand icon, and I'll call you up to speak, all right? And we'll have a conversation. For people that are able to register within the next 24 hours, you have the unique opportunity to have access to what we call the Amdari Vault. So what this vault provides you with is gives you access to the vault that contains several projects that are real life, with people that are going to also handhold you, for you to also be able to build on several projects and have more experiences. All right, so you have access to this, but it is limited for the people that are able to secure their spots within the next 24 hours. Remember, the discount is just for the first 20 people to register for this program. I don't know if at this point there's anybody with a question or anybody with any comments. Just feel free to drop it in the comment section, and I'm going to pick it up from there and address it. Or you can use the raise hand icon and I will call you up to ask your question. Anybody before we round up for today? Anybody? And why that is happening, let me see if the site is able to come up. All right, quickly, let's hear what Adetayo has to say.
Hello guys, how you doing? My name is Adewale Adetayo. I am making this video just to share my experience that I had with Analytics. About 5 months ago, I enrolled for a cybersecurity course with Analytics. Yeah, and when I started the course, my expectations were met. They actually shared a lot of stuff, both theories and hands-on, and the instructor was fantastic, literally. So while I was still doing the course, about let's say 60 to 70% completion into the course, I was obviously applying for jobs while I was doing the course, and I got a job as a Microsoft business advisor, solving technical problems for organizations with less than 300 employees. And I could say that doing the course was a contributing factor to me securing the job. I wanted to just affirm the knowledge that I have with cybersecurity, IT in general, because for some time, I was working as a self-employed person and I wasn't working in the IT space. So just to get back in, I needed to go through some courses just to establish the knowledge that I have and probably help me with some knowledge gaps likewise. And I could tell you that that was actually fulfilled, as I was even unable to complete the course before I got a job, and it contributed to the factor. So why am I sharing this? Probably you have something you are planning, you have a course you want to do, and you are trying to embark with Analytics. I would say you should go ahead with it. You can ask all the questions you want to. You have a group that you belong to. You guys can actually share knowledge together likewise, and you can ask all the questions. During the course, that you literally know that every question you want to ask, probably every knowledge gap you have, you can really talk about it, instead of doing probably micro courses online whereby it's just a one-way teaching, whereby you cannot provide your own feedbacks or probably questions that you have. So guys, I will recommend Analytics. I wish you all the best in your endeavors, guys. God bless you.
All right, I hope we're able to hear what Adetayo had to say about his own learning experience with us. I always mention to people, some land jobs within 2, 3, 4, 5 months, but we always advise to make sure you complete the entire program so you are not half-baked. So yours can come in 3 months, it can come in 4, it can come in 5, it can come 6 months after you join. It all depends on how you were able to assimilate the skills and also how you were able to continuously apply to those roles. So your own story can also be the same way that Adetayo's story also is. I can see no hands raised. I can also see that nobody dropped a question in the comment section. So I assume that we all understood everything that I've been saying. Now, what we also tried to do late last year, because last year entirely we were able to help 355 people specifically to move from our classroom into landing a job. And then we said in 2025, how do we double that number and get it to over 700 people landing a job from us during the year? And that's why we got into programs like the Alberta Advisor program to be able to build our own capacity as well and be able to offer more to the society. And of course, when you are done training with us, you're also going to be provided with a certificate that is fully recognized globally by the American Council of Training and Development from the USA. All right, you are going to be provided with this certification that is verifiable and is fully accepted globally regarding any career path that you're getting into. Saying that, oh, Chukwemeka has been a cybersecurity trained from Analytics, or Lola has been a cybersecurity person trained from Analytics. So you are also getting the certificate to validate the knowledge that you already have. So what are you still waiting for? Right? I always tell people that the best time to get into tech is yesterday, and not like yesterday, like a couple of years ago. And the next best time is today, because before you know it, tomorrow it may actually be so late. Okay, I think there's a question from Aminu. All right, Aminu, let me quickly answer your question. Please, could you explain the Amdari company you talked about? I missed it. Okay, Aminu. So Amdari is a consulting company that fully specializes in helping businesses solve problems. All right. So what we do is that when we are done training you, you are going to join the Amdari team as an intern and now be working on projects that they have at hand. So if they have a project from Nigeria, you're most likely going to work on the project. If you have a project from USA, you're going to work on the project. If they have one from UK or Canada, you are going to work on the project. Now, this is the best way for you to also build your experience level and be able to, stand more in the field to validate the skills that you already have. So it's not just that you are training with analytics. You train with analytics and then you have a free internship training with Amdari to give you more experience to build up your skills. I hope that answers your question clearly, Aminu. I can't see any other question. I can't see any hand raised. So moving on, if you go through the slide, you are going to see other success stories of people before you that have been able to also embark on this journey. A lot of success stories, okay? And like I said at the beginning, or like Lola said in the beginning rather, we've helped close to 3,000 people transition from our classroom into landing their first job in US, UK, Canada, Europe, Africa, and of course, Asia. And you can be the next person. But all you have to do is to learn the skill, package yourself, and of course, apply to roles. And these are things that we are fully here to help you prepare and attack the market for. Okay, Sally is asking, please, what is the future of CS, knowing fully well that AI is taking over the future? All right, so clearly, I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm quickly going to touch base on it. Salut, Noah. So Noah, what we also did is we looked at the World Economic Forum report to see which career paths are actually going to decline in the next coming years and which ones are going to grow. And from the World Economic Forum report, which is a segment called the future of jobs, when you get the slide, click here to download the full report and look at it. You're going to see career paths that are going to grow. And all this one that you see on this left-hand side, they represent jobs that are going to grow. While all the ones that you see on the right-hand side, they represent jobs that are going to decline. So what you want to do is to make sure that you are on the left-hand side. And one of those career paths that you can see clearly is the cyber security. You can see security management specialist, you can see Internet of Things specialist, and of course, information security analyst. Now, these jobs are amongst the fastest growing jobs as of today. So AI is coming up, but AI is also there to help you to perform on your job, to perform your task. Many companies are leveraging AI to perform or run their businesses. Now, your own responsibility is now, how do you also leverage that same AI to be fully functional in your own space? So if you are thinking, oh, cybersecurity amongst the jobs that AI is going to take over, you have to think it so many times because it is not so. Right? Cybersecurity is amongst the fastest growing jobs as of today out there. I hope that answers your question clearly, Noah. Okay, there is no other question. And let me complete what I was saying. So like I was saying, if you go through the slide entirely, you're going to now see other success stories of people before you that have embarked on this same journey and they are now victorious. So thank you guys so much for listening to us for the last close to 2 hours. And thank you so much to Lala Femi as well for, co-hosting the session with me, which is very, very fantastic. So on behalf of my founders, Adesa Suleiman, and my co-founder, Efmena Ipro, and of course, my amazing vice president, which is Lola Femi on the call, I say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for joining us through this session and listening to every single thing that we have to say. Remember, the discount is limited and it's just for the first 20 people. So make sure that you secure your own spot and make sure that you fill the attendance form that my colleagues are filling so that you have access to this slide and also have access to the recorded version of this discussion. Oh, I'm about to close this session though. When are the classes going to be during the week and how many times? So the class is just on Saturdays alone. You have your live classes on Saturdays alone, iPhone. And then during the week, what happens mostly is you might be having a drop-in session where they are checking up on you to know, okay, what happened over the weekend? Where are you at? Okay, what's happened over the weekend? Where are you at? Have you practiced it? Are you having any challenges and so on and so forth? Then maybe some mentorship sessions will also come up during the weekdays, but the classes itself is fully on Saturdays alone. All right, I hope that answers your question. So thank you so much, everyone, once more. You mentioned that classes are online on Saturdays. Please, how do you want to create time for individuals who doesn't have basic knowledge about cybersecurity? Fantastic question, Noah. All right, now the program is from basic level to advanced level. All right, so what it simply means is that even if you have an already existing knowledge and you're coming into the program, you are going to be taught like you do not know anything at all. Okay, you are going to be taught like you do not know anything at all. But there is need for you to also understand that there might be necessary times that you may need to also to build up on the skills or knowledge that you already have. You need to go over the recorded version of the class and also be able to validate some things personally for yourself also. So Noah, all the classes are all from basic level to advanced level. We don't expect, oh, you're already a cybersecurity person and you are coming, no. So that is why it is a training program helping you to transition. And for iPhone, the class is on Saturdays alone. We have morning class or evening class, can only be in one of them, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, or it can be in the evening class, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Anyone that works for you. So I think at this point, I'm going to round up. So cheers, everyone, and thank you for listening to us. Thank you so much, Latif, for connecting the session, and of course to Lydia for also being part of what we are doing here. So thank you so much, everyone, for amazingly listening to us for the last 1 hour, 51 minutes. And I can't wait to see you come July 5th. And if you have any challenges or questions pertaining to you breaking into tech from all the different WhatsApp communities that you came through, you'll be seeing a one-on-one consulting link for you to block our calendar link. We're going to have a personal discussion. It's entirely free, where we'll discuss to look at your background and find a befitting career path for you. That's if you think cybersecurity is not for you. We're going to look at what you've done before now and find a particular career path that is suitable for you. So thank you so much, everyone, and let's have a wonderful day, wonderful afternoon, or wonderful night rest out there. Cheers, guys, and bye for now.